Alrighty, so I'm gonna do another run in this impel. I found stuff at this station, so I'm gonna take it with me. This one says worth 1.3 billion. If it happens to be worth more than that in there, and I've got this stuff, I'll just leave it behind. I don't want to get too much value in my ship. So I'm gonna accept this contract, and then we're gonna go grab it. And stuff here, we're gonna put it into this hold. It all fits there, not very much. So, but found a bunch of stuff here I didn't remember I had. That's common for me. I'll leave stuff and I'll be like, I'll pick it up later, and then I forget about it. You know? That's how it goes. So this impel I call the Super Tog. It is on EWB. With implants, 500 and... how much? The overheating is what gets it. 551,000 DHP. It's a lot. This would require... oh, I'm bumping into the station. This would require freighter level gank to take it out. Okay, hopefully I don't bump into any other part of this, and I just make it to warp now. There we go. If you need to transfer a lot of SP from one character to another, should I move both characters to the same station and then contract size from one to another, something else? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can use large skill injectors remotely. I believe you can use them remotely, which means they do not have to be in the same station. But if they're in the same station, then yeah, you can just contract them over or whatever. You do not want to transport them. You do not want to be flying large skill injectors anywhere. So Plex can be used remotely, skins can be used remotely, and I believe skill injectors can be used remotely. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I have not tried it. I've just been told by multiple people that you can. So I don't have first-hand knowledge of that. Oh, there's a ship at that other station that I just left. I didn't know there was a ship there. I'm like, why is that station just show on my list? There's a ship in there. I wouldn't have been able to pick up the ship and this stuff at the same time, so. I do not read email that comes in while I'm doing the show, because you guys surprise me with shit all the time. Be like, this code here, I'm having problems with it. Help me out. And they list the code in there, and then I've exposed it on there. Don't send me business stuff in Eve. Or they'll say something like, keep this information secret, but so-and-so alliance, blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, and then to top it off, I forget to look at them later. And I'll be happen to go through mail a month or two later and I'll see some messages. Sometimes I see stuff like, hey, I got all this stuff I'm getting rid of. I'll give it to you for half price. Do you want it? I'll send you the contract. And then a month later, I'm like, yeah? They're like, oh, sorry, too late. Yeah, I miss out sometimes because of that, but because people have sent me I can't believe what some people have sent me in email.
Drive active.
Do I still have the camera out back to show the pond when I take a break? Well, here is the backyard camera. No pond anymore. Look at that lovely backyard. Yeah, see all those compost piles out there? Those are all bags of leaves. We're making dirt. So, yes, I have a lake that's in front 1 block away, but we bought a house. So, yep. And that's how that's going. The view is not nearly as nice. Give us a couple years.
Drive active. Drive active.
So, Shuri says, I'm right, can be done remotely, both extract and inject. Interesting. All right. Too bad there's not like stations that you can sit in where you get more points, more skill points for sitting in them, because then those would become hubs for people doing skill farming.
Drive.
All right, 2 more jumps to go. Another thing about running contracts is you kind of want to do them right away when you get them, because if their path crosses any of the space that gets corrupted and the security level changes, then you have a contract you have to run in a lower security. And so, and I think those changes happen at downtime, if I'm correct. So you want to run it before the next downtime. Because now you can run into that if you don't run it before the next downtime, that you can potentially be screwed. I'm sure places like HighSec Buyback, which issued this contract that I'm picking up, They give 5 days to run it. I'm sure that if that happened and you hadn't run it yet, you could contact them and they wouldn't fail the contract. They'd allow you to, you know, extend the time period on it, or they would just cancel it and then reissue it, and reissue it by, you know, giving a longer amount of time of whenever the corruption is guaranteed to have been fixed. I don't know how long that is, though. I don't know if that's but that can be a few weeks, right? I think so.
Warp drive active.
So, Unicorn of Evil, you played from 2004 to 2016 and you just returned back to Eve. Is there anything you recommend catching up on? Well, the first thing I'd say is that Eve is like riding a bicycle. And so you're going to know the basics already. And you're going to be able to hop in and start doing things. The only thing though is that your bicycle is now electric, and you know, it'll do 35 without you pedaling, you know, and you can kill yourself on it. But
Warp drive active.
other than that, there is a lot of new content since 2016, like an enormous amount of content. There's a whole bunch of new ships for you to look at. Triglavian, I think, came out after 2016, and Edencom. And there's some new Society Conscious Thought ships, at least one. And then we have on the 11th of next month, we have, is it 4 new industry ships? One of them being a freighter, and they have guns. Freighters with guns. So, you know, to get your feet wet, I'd really say, like, if you were doing like level 4 missions before in high sec or whatnot, you know, just go in and do you know, some level 3 missions or whatnot with a ship that you know would handle it just fine, just to get your feet wet, just so you can go and fly and you know, kind of get acquainted with the mechanics and everything. And then you probably have shit all over the place. And so, you know, might be good to go and start picking up some stuff and get, you know, reconsolidate your stuff, sell off some stuff that you don't need, hold on to stuff that you're not sure whether or not it's valuable. And you may find that you have some items that are actually rare now. Because if you played 2004 to 2016, then, you know, like if you did the Second Decade Edition, which came out in 2014, 2015, that had like the mystery box stuff in it. And there's like sorrow skins that are worth a bunch. There's an outfit that's worth a bunch.
Active.
Golden Pod, which is worth a whole bunch. The golden pods are going for 14 or 15 billion now. If you haven't done that, that's the AU-79. Yeah, so just go out and do a few things that you're familiar with, and then you'll find your groove. So, and welcome back. And after you kind of got your feet under you, you know, start looking for another corp. The corp you're in is probably not around. So, or maybe they are, but you know, they'd be vastly different. That's 8 years ago that you last played. And if you need Omega Time, you can get it from us. Anything else that you can buy from the store, you can get from us. Exclamation point coupon. Use the coupon code, save yourself a few bucks. So, there you go. All right, we'll see how much the value is on this.
Accepted.
See whether or not it, you know, puts me over my comfort level. So to check that, we can go to item hanger here. You can see it here, and then you can click on it. It is higher than what they insured it for. Why? I don't, was this exactly what they insured it for? It was 1.3 something. I expected it to be lower. I expected it to be about 1.1. Let me look at my contract here. Yeah, they valued it at 1.29. And it is worth 1.362. Yeah, which after picking this up, so I don't know why they did that. Here's the deal. You get too far off on the variance on what you charge for collateral as opposed to what it's worth, and you can end up with people failing the contract and keeping the stuff. In this case, you know, it's about 70 million, which after taxes and everything on, you know, on this, would that be worth it? No, not really. If they had another billion worth in there, and let's say it was like 2.3 billion, then I'd look at this and I'd be like, well, this is a big problem because I don't accept contracts that are worth that much. And so that would be a big problem for me. And I might fail it for that reason. Not necessarily, I mean, I guess I would make profit off of that, but I might fail it because I don't want to run, you know, a 2.3 billion-ish contract in one of my ships through Udema. If I didn't have to go through Udema, then I'd think about it more. And if you do hauling often enough, you will encounter where somebody mixes up the collateral and the payout. Or they accidentally put the payout in both spots. I've had that happen before, and in fact, I've done it before. And sometimes I have pilots tell me, they're like, you made a mistake on this? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I did. Okay, well, if you deliver it, I'll give you a bonus. And then I have to give them a really healthy bonus because they could have just taken it. And so, like, if this was valued at $1 billion more, and I contacted them, or let's just say it was me, it was worth $1 billion more, and I was running it, or someone else is running it, and I made a mistake by $1 billion, and then they informed me, and then they ran it anyway and delivered it. In my mind, I'm giving them like a 500 million ISK bonus. And because I could have just taken it. So, and people's morals and ethics change based upon the scope of the value. So let's say that they put this at 1.3 billion and it was actually 13 billion. Yeah. So if it was actually 13 billion, I'd look at it and go, shit, I can make 12 billion right here in one shot. And then I don't have to run it myself either. You know, so I don't know. I have failed contracts to take the profit before, but I honestly struggle with it because I know that this is a game, but my real life ethics tell me it's not right to do that. But in EVE, it's very right to do that. It's very right to market PvP. I mean, if you can get one over on somebody else, do it, right? So, all right. So I'm going to put this in my cargo hold. And then this is Udema right here. And so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stop here before Udema. I'm going to add this waypoint. And then I'm going to optimize my route so that I stop there. And I am going to drop off at least some of this stuff, maybe even all of it. And so that I'm not going through Udema with it. Udema probably is not a problem right now. I could check Eve Scout, or I could put a Scout in there.
Warp drive active.
By the way, when using the propulsion trick to get to warp, you don't do it when leaving station. It will not help you get to warp faster when leaving a station because you already come out at a certain speed and it'll actually overspeed you. And then your ship will slow down a little bit before going to warp. So, if you have to do a complete 180, then it can help you get to warp faster, but not by much. From the gates, though, you will go to warp as soon as the module turns off.
Warp drive active.
So, you know, can I run 1.5 billion through? Yeah. We're at 1.7. So, and, you know, you'd be like, I'll just take a chance, you know, it'll probably be fine. And the truth is, you're probably correct. But if I set limits for myself and then stick to them, then I arrive alive, right? What, put your seatbelt on, arrive alive? Don't drink and drive, arrive alive? Yeah. Is it worth it to have a daily transports that have evasive maneuvering implant for No, not at all. Not for a DST.
Warp drive active.
For a blockade runner, where everything is about speed and stealth, then yes, all the evasive maneuvering stuff implants in for that, so that you can get down to a sub 2 second alignment time, and that'll make you extremely hard to catch. Not 100% impossible, but extremely hard to catch. In a DST, if you put in the implants for evasive maneuvering, they will not bring you down enough to make a difference. Because, like right here, I'm at 19.09. I could fit this all for alignment and everything, and I'd get down maybe half that. Use the implants, maybe I'd get a little bit more. But with this right here, with using the afterburner trick, like I'm doing right here, go to warp, hit this, turns on, turn it off. As soon as it finishes its cycle, I go to warp, which is 10 seconds. And I have the full tank, so I can withstand a gank. So I don't believe in speed fitting deep space transports or freighters. I do believe in speed fitting blockade runners, but I also believe in having 13,000 or more EHP in a blockade runner, because that's where I found is the point to where you can usually survive a smart bomb, and you can usually survive a volley from a tornado. Not all the time. It's less likely you'll survive. It's more likely you'll survive from a smart bomb, less likely that you'll survive a tornado, but there is still a chance. So,
warp drive active.
Yeah. And the prop will be 10 seconds no matter what the implants are. Correct. The time to warp on using that trick is 100% based upon the cycle time of the afterburner. So a micro jump drive has gotten your impel out of more than a couple sticky situations. Yeah, I don't have one on here, you'll notice. Literally, with overheat, I have 551,000 DHP on a deep space transport. If I keep my amounts low enough on the cargo that I'm carrying, nobody's gonna bother me. Or it's very, very unlikely. If they really want to kill you, they will kill you whether you have cargo or not. And that has happened to me many times in a blockade runner. Because blockade runners, they can't scan. And so they're like, oh, blockade runner inbound to Jita. Boom. That's why you have an insta-dock at Jita and the other trade stations for blockade runners. All right, so we are going here, and this heron, he's not moving at all. He may very well be scanning. He can scan you. That's one key there, is that when a ship that could fit a scanner is at 0 on its velocity, sitting at a gate, it is a high chance that they are scanning ships. So if I were scanned,
docking permission requested.
You know what? If they scanned me and they think that I have more on me than what I do, they're still gonna shoot me. But they're looking for me right now coming through the gate. If they were planning on it. They're looking right now for me coming through the gate. They don't know that I docked up at a station unless that person was paying attention as to where I warped to. So we're going to drop this stuff off here. That lowers me down to 1.3 billion. And we'll give it just another minute. If they are planning to attack, and if they are red flashy, they have a hard time sitting out in space for a long time. And so this right here is cooling them off. And so they're gonna be like, well, he's not there. Now, if I had been scanned and I saw that I was scanned, my rules are kind of like that's an automatic 10 or 15 minute timeout that I automatically dock. And if I see the scan as I'm warping to the next gate, I hit stop on my ship. And when I reach that gate, I go and dock up. I don't jump through the gate. Is that being overly cautious? Maybe. But I have played long enough to know that that's how I stay alive. So, all right, let's head out. What's a visual indication of being scanned? So, hey Squiz, yes, good morning. There's a visual indication, so there's a little, you know, like when you are tethered to a station, that kind of the scope that comes out and the thing that you see there, it's like that but smaller and white. And it's pretty small on here. Like the size of it on your ship is gonna be like the size of this engine. And then there's also sometimes a sound, which is a little shh type sound. It's I can't quite do it, but you hear it. So,
warp drive
yeah.
active.
It'd be easy to see if you test it with a friend or an alt, yes. If you're in first person mode, you won't see it. Do you fly in first person mode? You're a fucking unicorn if you do. I don't know anybody that flies in first person mode. It's more of a novelty. Sometimes you do? Wow. All right. Now, if I get through this gate, and you take offense to that remark? Yeah, okay. Because you're a unicorn? Yes. Well, hey, rare breed. So if I get through this gate, and there's a whole bunch of red flashies there, or a whole bunch of people that look like they're gonna shoot me, first thing I'm gonna do is hit my stuff to overheat. There's not gonna be a problem here. That's not enough to do anything. So, there's not going to be any issue here. But the first thing I would do would be to overheat, hit my overheat for my lower rack, and then I would, oh, I just got scanned. That's it right there. We were just talking about it. That was it. I just got scanned. I don't know why they would scan me here. Why do you think they scan me here? Is it because they're watching the show and they're like, oh, let me scan him so I can give an example? I don't know why they did that. But here's the deal.
Warp drive
I'm not
active.
going through the gate right this moment. They could have gankers sitting over there. So since I got scanned, I am not going through the gate. And so I'm gonna go to a station here, and we're gonna give it a cooldown. Now, if I was really paranoid, I'd go log in a scout and take him to that system and see what I'm seeing, see what's there. No, I don't have any mid-warp pins. I'm just going to a station.
Docking permission requested.
I'll show you one of my other ships, which I have not flown in probably 4 years. And it's an expensive one. For YouTube, you'll have to wait for the next episode. Yes, I didn't say that. I'm reading that from chat. But
I'm an equal
Docking
opportunity
request
ass kicker.
Loven22 just subscribed.
All right. Tier 3, 102 months. That's going to be an enormous payout. Levon, did you make it back home? Levon was here last week. Had a great time hanging out with him. And so, 102 months. Tier 3 is going to be 40,800 gold to everybody here. You're all rich. 40,800 gold to everybody here in Levon's honor. I expect the next dungeon raid to be good. Yeah. So, spent yesterday relaxing after you got home. All right. While we're waiting for a little bit of a cool down here, check this out. This is an answer. Why can't I spin around and look at it? It doesn't let me. All right. So, this is an answer. This is a jump freighter. It's currently speed fit at 15.93 seconds. Yes, it's about a 10 billion-ish ship. It's actually more than that. So it holds 171,000 in cargo, and yes, it's parked in Udema. It does use fuel, and it's full of fuel, and there is no brick tank on this. Suppose I could. It's got 666,000 EHP in my current fit. I wonder if I put bricks in it, what would happen? So I wonder what it would be in bulkheads. And because you're already so expensive on this, that, you know, why not just go all the way and with like the ore reinforced bulkheads, because you're already a target. Does it make you more of a target if you add another billion to its worth? I don't think so. There we go. 1.07 million EHP. Now that's a freighter. But it lowers your cargo space to 142,000. You never take a jump freighter into high sec fully. Correct. I am here because I jumped to a low sec station that's right next door to Udema. And then I flew it into here and I transferred my cargo to another ship. So, yeah. And then when just out in space where you're not worried about things and you're doing a lot of jumping, the prototype jump drives save you on fuel. And then cargo expanded. Let's see where we sit at. $453,000 DHP, and we got 356,000 cubic meters. So it could probably, if we went with ore cargo expanders, then, you know, we'd get what, like 370 or something like that. I think that a jump freighter is so expensive in the first place that it doesn't matter what kind of cost you're putting into these, like with going faction or whatever. I wouldn't put Dead Space stuff in there, or I mean, or officer stuff. I don't even know if there is such a thing as like an officer expanded cargo hold. I don't think there is. But, you know, I wouldn't go that far overboard. But if you add a couple billion to the value of it, it's nothing, because it's already over 10 billion is what it's already worth. So you're already a target. Yeah. And as Levon said, he never takes his jump freighters fully into high sec space. Yeah, I only do one jump in. One jump in.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Steiner76 just followed.
Let's see. Steiner, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Open it. All right, let's hop back in here. If I weren't on stream, I'd just go make a sandwich or something.
Warp drive active.
Give it a little bit more time. If you get to the other side of the gate and there's a gank fleet there, I'm going to overheat. I'm going to try my propulsion jump. If they have me scrammed, then I'm going to burn to the gate. And I'm going to overheat my propulsion too. There's not a gank fleet in here. There's just not enough people in here to do it.
Warp drive active.
They could have been scanning too for another gate ahead, but I've given them enough cooldown time that they don't have their fleet ready anymore, unless there's somebody else watching for me to come through. Any use for web apps, tools these days? So Killboard, I use that all the time to look people up, to see whether they're dangerous or not when I'm flying in null. And other apps, eWorkbench for fits, exclamation point EWB. Have all of my good fits listed there. Now, the higher the security status,
Warp drive active.
the better chances I have, you know, because we're going up into 8 and 9 now, which means that Concord responds quicker, which means that if the gank is going to happen, they have to bring even more ships. Any web app tools for the markets? I don't use any, but there are some out there. The only one I use is JEV Assets, and I use that to find lost stuff. Because it'll show me the value in each region, and then each system, and then it'll drill down to station. And it'll show me which one of my characters it's on, if I plug in all of my characters to it.
active.
If there's any interesting contracts in this system or in this. None that really pay a lot. There's like 3 of them here in this place called Ura, and the total volume on that, I mean, I could fit all 3 of them into a freighter. And then, you know, I'd be looking at 30 million for running all of them. But
Warp drive active.
a lot more here. 500 million, pays 21. Another 500 million, 67. That has to go in a freighter. It doesn't, you know, then you'd be 31 million for 24 jumps. Freighter wise, that's usually okay. There's one that pays 20. 65 jumps? Holy Jesus.
Warp drive active.
And then what are these? Those go through LOSEC. Oh. See, if these didn't go through LOSEC, and then at these cheap rates, you know, collateral and stuff, you could put a bunch of them together and put them in a freighter. But since they go through LOSEC, and by the way, I would never accept a contract that I use my jump freighter for unless the payment is at least 200 million. Because it's just a lot of work to put together a, you know, a jump freighter route and the safety and everything. So if you're following the same route that you always do, you know, like run stuff for your alliance or whatever, then that's one thing. Okay, here I'm going to use an Instadock. I'm going to warp to there and then
Warp drive
hit
active.
this and then turn on all of this. And then I click on here and hit D, which will make me dock as soon as I land. I don't think that I'm going to need to overheat this. I don't expect a gank fleet of, I don't know how many, it'd take quite a few. They'd have to pay more than what the ship is worth, and they wouldn't make money on it. There it, inside the station.
Docking permission requested. Docking
That
request
tornado out there,
accepted.
he's waiting. So is he. They're gonna one-shot people.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Pappy_tote just followed.
Happy, thank you for the follow. Welcome. All right, so now we can deliver. And deliver courier package. There we go. So made a few. I got stuff closer to home. These ones for 24 jumps, 21 million. Where does that go? Molten Heath. quite a ways out there. I'm looking to see if I have any stuff out there. Oh, I do. I have 130 items sitting in a station that's out that direction. On 122 in Heck. That's 500 million, pays 21 million. It pays okay, given the type. You know, usually I like to be $1 billion per jump. Or $1 million per jump per billion. This is 500 million. Pays better than that rate. We're gonna do it. Doesn't currently fit my ship. It's 15,000. Yes, it's fine. It does fit into my fleet hangar. And they said 500 million. It's 236 million. So it's really, they kind of grossly overvalued that, but that's fine. All right, if you're watching on YouTube, that's it for this episode.